The ZBCN Canton network partnership is bigger than you think.
I have been noticing lots of like crypto-backed neobanks. They're popping up everywhere. I see that recently you guys announced a partnership with Lattice, which is the first neobank on the Canton network. What else can you tell me about this market and how you are approaching it?
Before the founder, one of the ZBCN team members, founders, dives into it and how the partnership is so impactful here, we have to take into account that the ZBCN is one of the, in my opinion, one of the more legitimate altcoins in the space. A lot of, XRP, XLM holders, people that, are the typical retail investor that really don't dive that deep into crypto. When you ask them about crypto, they know about Bitcoin, they know about XRP, maybe Cardano, and that's pretty much it. Maybe Dogecoin, right? That's pretty much it. They don't know much more than that. Ethereum, you know what I mean? Like the people that are Uber drivers or just regular folks, they don't have the time to dive super deep into the space. They don't know about like MetaMask wallet, Phantom wallet. They don't know about Uniswap, Aerodrome. They don't know about liquidity pools. None of that stuff. You ask them about crypto, they say, I know Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Dogecoin, maybe Cardano, right? That's what they know, right? So, in my opinion, that's what makes ZBCN so special, because it is falling in line with, the typical retail investor that doesn't have that much time to invest into, to like super deep research crypto, because they are so busy with their lives, and rightfully so. They're so busy with work and their family, etc., their kids, etc., so they don't have that time to like dive deep into the space, which is very understandable. ZBCN is falling in line, especially with its ISO compliance. It's falling in line in the same lane or the same type of field sector as XRP, XLM, right? And that is massive, because if you take a look at the space, the XRP army, the XRP holders are so fanatical with this project, with the project XRP. If you talk about XRP on YouTube, you get so much views if you could somehow capture the interest of the XRP army, right? People that have been consistently covering XRP for years, people that have been invested for a long time. It's grown exponentially for them, right? So ZBCN, in my opinion, is like kind of in the starting phases of that, and partnerships with Canton Network, Lattice Exchange, and Tangem. Attending the XRP Las Vegas conference, their super app going live, the utilities, the fundamentals being delivered is so important here, right? And it brings so much legitimacy to the project ZBCN.
Definitely. So there's a lot of crypto-based neobanks that are popping up everywhere right now, and I think the vast majority of them are still in what we'd call the development phase, meaning that they're not live yet. Many of those, which have raised some capital but really haven't gone to market, they're in talks with us. Or some of them, like Lattice, are already under contract to use elements of our super app in their tech and banking stack. So for Lattice, it's a fully white labeled card experience built directly into their banking app, and it's all going to run on Canton Network, which is one of the leading institutional grade blockchains. And keep an eye out for further partnerships and integrations between Zebec and Canton directly. But that being said, we're super excited to be working with Lattice and many more neobanks on the horizon. So Zebec, as I've said many times now, is going to continue to be what we're calling the rails of the growing real-time finance economy. And there's no better example than seeing this next generation of banks building directly on top of our infra in such early days.
That is so bullish, right? That is so bullish. How he explained that answer and how, important and legitimate that is. They're still in the early development stages, whereas ZBCN is already miles ahead. ZBCN, again, one of the projects that has been a neobank established for quite some time now. Still, like I said, relatively new in the overall crypto space, but it's been around for a good enough amount of time for people to be like, okay, this has some type of legitimacy here. This has shown its strength, this has shown its cards, and there's way more cards to unveil, way more potential, catalyst, success that will be unveiled as the team keeps building here. The community always shows up. The builders are always showing up. They're delivering on dates that they set out. They're delivering and staying up to date consistently. Even in these market conditions that we have, you could still see the strength. You could still see the building taking place. Right now, as a crypto content creator personally, because I don't have that massive audience, so I have not tapped into the XRP audience, it's very tough to get viewership on your content if you're not talking about if you haven't, like I said, captured the audience of like XRP or Bitcoin, top coins like that, or coins that have such cult followings. It's very difficult. Whereas with the ZBCN project, you could see that there's people that are still consistently showing up, supporting this project. And that's what you want to see in a project, guys. If you really want to see it become massively successful, widely successful, they show up on X, they show up at conferences, they show up at events, social media platforms, YouTube, X, you name it, right? And the neobank, this isn't just a sector or a narrative. Neobanks, this is going to be the future, right? See, tweets from Brian Armstrong, CZ Binance, two of the biggest CEOs, founders in the space. CZ, founder of Binance, Brian Armstrong, founder of Coinbase, saying AI agents and AI in general will need wallets. They'll need decentralized wallets. Wouldn't it be fantastic to see that the ZBCN super app is used by agents, right? That is also one of the sectors here of the importance. One of the most important things of neobanks is the decentralization, is the self-custody, right? Because agents, non-human beings, can't go through banks. They can't use KYC. They can't do KYC. They don't have like social security numbers. It's an agent. It's an AI. It's a agentic It's a program. It's a language model. So neobanks will be the future, right? Neobanks will be massive, and I think ZBCN has tapped into this at the right. They're in the right place at the right time for the exponential growth that will happen. Coming for projects like this in the future. Instant payments, borderless payments, you name it. Crypto neobanks are everywhere, while many still are in development. Some are already building with Zebec. Our partnership with Lattice brings a fully white label card experience to the first neobank on Canton network. More neobank partnerships are on the horizon. And if you take a look at this right here from Captain ZBCN, Pirates, two ecosystems, two visions, two completely different lanes. One side, Canton Network, institutional finance, infrastructure, banks, validators, collateral rails, settlement, plumbing. On the other side, ZBCN, real-world PayFi execution, real-time payroll, stablecoin payments, debit, and carbon cards, super app distribution. Canton is building the rails for Wall Street. ZBCN is building the operating system for everyday money movement, back-end finance versus global consumer enterprise adoption. One settled assets, the other one is money in real time, moves money in real time. Here's the best part. People are missing. ZBCN isn't just infrastructure, it's distribution, revenue plus velocity. While others build closed institutional circles, ZBCN is plugging into real users, real businesses, real payments. PayFi is in theory, it's live, different lane, different scale potential, different end game. The ecosystem isn't small, it's strategic, right? And here you have a nice graphic. Here you have a nice graphic of Canton and its ecosystem, right? Just a massive ecosystem. A lot of people are bullish on Canton Network. It has so much backing behind it. It's now in the top 100 projects. Super validators are very, I think, going to be very special. And then we have ZBCN having that partnership with Canton Network with through Lattice Exchange, which is the neobank building on the ZBCN ecosystem and its super app, and all the payment rails that are unlocked here. Stablecoins as well. Stablecoin payments is going to be massive, like truly massive. I really think we're seeing the change in, you know, from the previous banking system to a new financial system here, especially with the introduction of agents. Agents will outpurchase and outconsume, you know, typical human beings. They're going to be having their own wallets. They're going to be making so much money with their own wallets, and they're going to be, you know, consuming at a level we've never seen. And they're gonna, those payment rails are gonna be powered by projects like ZBCN, in my opinion, powered by projects, you know, that are building for that, and it's going to be powered by blockchain technology. It's going to be powered by blockchain technology, and it's going to be massive for crypto. It is. The, you know, AI agents, etc., is going to be massive for crypto. And I think because of what ZBCN has built with their super app, with their payment rails, it's going to be massive for ZBCN also, right? So right now ZBCN sitting at 202. ZBCN sitting at 202 right now, just under 205 mil in market cap. Tokenomics, fantastic. It's holding up extremely well here. Take a look at the overall market. Bitcoin is you know, around hovering around that 70k area. Fear and greed has left extreme fear, and it's in fear now at 27. Are we gonna get over to greed and extreme greed? I'm keeping an eye on this, man. I don't know what's going to happen, honestly. Like, people are saying we're gonna get up to close to 80k and then roll over, and that's when we begin the final leg. People say we get above 80k, 85k, they have to be bullish. So we'll see. ZBCN, like I said, though, is holding up extremely well. You love to see that. I think this is a great altcoin to have. I'm never telling anyone to overinvest in any project. I think 100,000 ZBCN is a great bet to make. $200 in. You could potentially see 5 cent, 10 cent, maybe even 30 cent for ZBCN in the medium term. Over the course of long term, you could see maybe higher than that, but medium term, that is very possible, right? So as always, none of this is financial advice. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, join the Discord, follow me on X, and subscribe to my Clips channel for short form content. It really helps out. Thank you so much, and I'll catch you in the next one.